All right, local swell trackers, June 5th, out a couple of weeks. Wanted to show you this killer animation of the Earth. You can see the winds slowly coming in here from about 20 to 25 knots from the east-northeast. Those are the trade winds, thanks to an established high pressure up here to our northeast. Here we are, about 20 north. There's a little bit of a weak low pressure up here spinning us, bringing us some waves over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, a little northwest swell of maybe 2 feet or less by Sunday. And then down under, there's a little bit of activity going on. There's a fetch right here that'll be bringing us up some waves for next week. That'll be peaking at about Tuesday or Wednesday. All right, so let's get underway. We'll go ahead and show you this little spinner I was just showing you out here, which is fairly unseasonable. It's just weak winds up there, maybe 20, 25 knots from Tuesday, June 3rd. And again, the little soft fetch on that guy will bring us in some short period 11 to 11-second northwest swell. And if we're lucky, the surf schools can get underway at Chun's and have something to ride late Saturday into Sunday from this guy right here. Obviously, the thing fades out, and there's nothing much going on. We got some storms starting to come off for Baja, but they're not bringing us any waves yet. And that's all we have for the North Pac. Down under, though, there's a lot more activity because as of this week, it is formally their winter. A friend of mine, Kenny Hulbert, just got back from New Zealand, had beautiful weather and tons of waves at Raglan. But I get ahead of myself. Let's take a look at the models from Saturday, the 31st of May. We have a decent-sized fetch. A lot of the energy is pointing off to the Americas, but we will see some sideband swell from this fairly large storm with some fairly strong winds, bringing us in some long period. The higher the winds, the longer the periods can get. So this guy right here, you count out about a week. And this Saturday, 7th of June, we'll see some forerunners of 1 foot swell, 18 seconds from the south-southwest. Several phases. It lasted a decent length of time, and then it went zonal and disappeared. But we will see this one getting to 2.5 feet, 16 seconds into Sunday, Monday. We should be seeing some 2 to 3 plus by Sunday. The Saturday will be the fill-in phase. Long lulls and only isolated spots really pulling in anything much over 2 feet. But Saturday, we'll see the new line. Sunday, we'll see solid 2 to 3, and through Monday, solid 2 to 3, with some spots reaching a little bit bigger, say a foot overhead. Then we'll click in the animations and show you the next swell is a low pressure popping on the models as of Tuesday, June 3rd. This one also has some strong winds and a better pointed fetch towards Hawaii. This one will peak Wednesday with swell in the open ocean, buoy readings of 3 feet 15 seconds, and that should lead to some spots, top refracting zones of 3 to 5 feet, with most spots hitting about 2 to 4 on this guy right here. So again, this is hindcasting, thanks to Mark over there at Storm Surf for the use of his models. And then after this, we go into a quiet phase. It goes very zonal or west to east. Let me get to that. Okay, so here's the swell that'll be pushing us up for a week out. It reaches the tip of New Zealand, so less distance to travel. Look at the Ross Ice Shelf. It's really building up now to about 60 degrees, and that's limiting swells for us as well. But again, it's their winter, and that ice moves up, affecting the fetches of these large storms. So I was saying the storms do go zonal. Take a look. As time marches on, we go into a long quiet period, and everything is just tracking this way. And even though we have a big storm in about 5-6 days, it's not moving up towards us. Only this guy and the swell prior to this. So after this current weekend swell, we're going to go into a kind of a long period of flatness. This guy will bring in some background 1 to 2 foot waves from sideband swell, but nothing after that. And up in the North Pac, there's this remnant low pressure that'll pull us in something for, again, for the surf schools up in the country. It is going to be windy as well. And then we go into a total summer pattern here. We do get something coming off the west coast, but we will not see much of that. If anything, that'll be all over to the windward side. And then we do see a storm coming off of the Philippines. And during the right season, these things can recurve and intensify and lead to big west swells. Something to observe and fantasize about. Okay, now the jet streams, you can see that troughiness to our northwest, that northwest swell producer is about 1,500 miles away with, again, only 25 knot winds, and it'll only be a 10, 11-second northwester over the weekend. And we have a northern branch that's pretty dominant, and as you're going to see here, a very zonal jet stream, and it's really not put together too well. We don't really get swells from the northern branch like we'd like. We get them from the southern branch, and we like them to track right up the east coast of New Zealand. These large upper air currents are known as the jet stream, are about 30,000 feet up, and they fuel systems, and in addition to that, they steer them. And not looking too good after this series of swells. However, we will brag a little bit about May, that we had over a half a dozen separate swell events, and June's not doing too bad with just a few on the charts right now. Okay, let's take a look at the hand-drawn surface charts. The high pressures are firmly established. They're pretty much semi-permanent now. There's the one off to the northeast it's going to be building, and it's going to be, you see the isobars up here? Well, that's showing a fetch of upstream trade winds that'll be building over the weekend, adding longer period swell to the already high local winds, locally generated swell. So we'll be solid 2 to 3, maybe plus over the weekend, thanks to the summer high pressures getting established. There's that weak low over there for the swell over the weekend. If we get 2 feet out of that, we won't be seeing anything out of this low pressure here, and all these highs over here will eventually move their way in to the picture. There's those ridges to our northwest, and all in all, we have very stable weather. It's not going to be very wet. Most of the rain will be confined to the windward Mauka areas, and it's definitely looking like summer. Now we'll jump from the surface all the way up to the water vapor loop, showing features 20,000 feet up. The big low pressure up here dissipating by over the next couple days. The brown areas are showing the dry sinking air, and if you see this spinner up here, it's an upper level to low pressure, and that upper level system, about 1,000 miles northwest of Honolulu, is moving northeast and spreading high clouds over the main Hawaiian Islands. And if you look out, you can see them. This is just showing you they're really clipping Kauai and Oahu, and even down through Maui. So this is kind of obscuring the lower level clouds, as I'll show you here in a second. So there's our prettier version of what's going on. All that blue area is all that high pressure area. High pressure spinning clockwise in the north pack, counterclockwise in the south pack. The storm's going counterclockwise up here and clockwise down under. As we drill down, you can see that northeast tilt to the trades and the clouds. There's the upper level clouds from that disturbance up here that I was talking about. Drilling down further, you can see the wisps, and these northeasterly tilted clouds coming in are fairly sparse, moving at about 20 to 25 knots with the trades. Very little rain, as I was mentioning. Highs about 85, lows about 75. And all in all, any rain is confined to the windward side, offshore, and to the windward Mauka regions. And that's the local swell tracker. Stay waxed, stay ready, and we'll try to get back here next weekend. Aloha.